I did say I was going to do a follow up to that last video, so here we go. Okay, so there's this new terminology on the internet now. It's called villain arc. You know what I'm saying? It's basically when a person feels like they just had enough with how they were being treated or how they feel about certain things, and they're just gonna they're gonna get mean, right? They're gonna probably I'm gonna become a villain. Which, by the way, ask anybody what the word villain means, and they can't give you an answer. They'll tell you, oh, it's a victim of trauma that is actually responding to that trauma in the most negative ways imaginable. Or it's an antagonistic force towards something, so it's not always going to be bad. It's just something for something else to fight against. No, for me, a villain is just some jerk that wants to hurt people. So if you like the villains, you like a jerk that hurts people. Well, it's deeper than that. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. We all undergo trauma. We all undergo trauma on the regular basis. If you're an American, I feel like the most American thing about America is the trauma that we all collectively go through at the same time. Under the crushing weight of the economy, some of us who have jobs and have means towards trying to get ourselves out of the rat race that we're in, we're all undergoing so much trauma, just so much stress. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a meme going around. I remember somebody was saying like, the stuff that we poverty breaks people down on a molecular level. There's people who are literally sick because they are poor. And yes, please go ahead and mock my hair. I don't care. I like how it feels. It feels nice. My hair feels nice. I love this. But the fact of the matter is, though, is that we all undergo trauma on a regular basis, and almost all of us don't go out robbing banks, hurting people, setting people's houses on fire, running into people with our cars. We don't do terrible things just because we're all undergoing trauma. You know what I'm saying? There's normal ways to undergo trauma, and honestly, it definitely does it should definitely make for awareness of what's the word I'm looking for. It should definitely make for awareness of I'm drawing a blank here, of mental health, into a thing. If we're all undergoing some sort of trauma, and trauma is causing us to act irrationally in a negative way, we should instead of us talking about how we're going to become villains and just completely embrace the evil, we should actually be trying to find ways to seek some professional help, because what you're doing is not good or helping anyone. I will always measure a person, the value of a person. I hate using the word value, by the way. I think it's a really stupid word. I will always measure the value of a person by how useful they are, because of the fact that essentially we're all useful in some fashion. To put this in perspective, we measure everything by how useful it is. You wouldn't buy something that's broken because you can't use the broken thing. You know what I mean? You wouldn't buy something that is, you can't use because, and you dang sure won't buy something that not only you can't use but will actively hurt you. It's the same thing with people. You wouldn't interact with a person who you don't need and also is going to hurt you. You wouldn't want to interact with that person. That's what a villain is. No, actually, a villain is just somebody who is sick and tired of being bullied and picked on, and they are just fighting back. No, dude, that's called a victim. That's called a victim. Okay. Well, I used to know a guy. He said, "I'm a villain because my sheer presence actually upsets and antagonizes people." No, dude, you're a victim of bigotry, because he is first off, he was a person of color. And and he's also a trans person. So he's a person of color, he's a trans man, and he also like to wear farm clothes and stuff like that. He liked to wear so it's it was kind of and he wasn't really a farmer. He just liked to wear the gear, and some people would not like that. So because he does these sort of things, he obviously antagonizes racists and people who don't like trans people and people who don't like my clothes or it's not your costume. You know what I'm saying? So clearly, he's like, well, I'm a villain because these people get angry when they see me. No, dude, you're a victim of bigotry. How are you the villain here? This doesn't make any sense. All you're doing is existing and putting on clothes. We really do need to like actually we need to, as a group, as a society, as a people, actually sit down and just sort of understand exactly what's the difference between a victim who is just tired, who is just fed up with being victimized, and a villain who's genuinely evil and just wants to hurt people because they want to hurt people. It's very aggravating that we tend to sort of like combine these two into this. They're gonna make every villain into a person who's just tired and sad. Instead of crying, he just punches people in the face. Stop. Just stop. You're not defending yourself by harming innocent people. You know what I mean? Kind of by that notion, I really, thinking about it, I don't think I hate Trump supporters that much. Like, I do know that I dislike them. I do know that I find them agitating. I do know that I find them annoying, but I don't think I genuinely hate them because, as I've said multiple times, I don't want anything bad to happen to. I don't really want anything bad to happen to them. I don't want anything bad to happen to their families. To put this in perspective, I think the thing that makes, because people will say, "Oh, well, you still hate them because you still hate them and you still want bad things to happen to them," and I'm like, okay, but hear me out though. I don't want anything bad to happen to a white supremacist kid. I don't want anything bad to happen to a school that a white supremacist may go to. I don't want anything bad to happen to a hospital that a white supremacist is happen to be like getting taken care of in. I don't want anything bad to happen to the home of that white supremacist. If anything, all I want is white supremacists to A, not have power, and B, probably be jailed for the years of terrorism and the cultural erosion that we have had to deal with because we would just rather make them feel safe. You see what I'm saying? Like I don't want anything. Like I don't want these people harmed or maimed or brutalized or thrown into a fire pit or eaten like how they would want me to be eaten. Let's not forget, white supremacists actually did used to eat black people back in the day. Look it up. It was a thing. But it's like at the end of the day, my whole thing is that like I realize now that I don't hate Trump supporters when I realize that I work with like a good 4 of them. Okay. And I actually get along with my coworkers. I get along with all of my coworkers. A lot of like 2 of them made it very obvious that they are Trump supporters, but like 1 of them really didn't. And this one person, like we're friends. Like we actually interact with each other. We actually are on good terms with one another. The thing is that like clearly they come from a military family and they're very very they're very in tuned with the Bible. So it's like but they never really like made it into like that big of a deal at work until we were talking, and at some point they were talking about how talking about Bible stuff, and the first thing that went through my mind is, oh God, please don't be a Republican. And it's like, oh crap, they are. Because it's like this person, to put this in perspective, this person is biracial, and like they're biracial, and also they're also queer. So it's just like, and it's like, and white supremacist Trump supporters are going to be like, see, I told you we're not all racist. It's like, it's not racism because you have demographics within your community. You're racist because of what you're willing to vote for in spite of these people supporting the thing that you support. You don't realize that you're the people also getting harmed by the things that you want to happen. The reason why I don't like Trump supporters is ultimately because they're willing to let their fear and their bigotry control every decision that they're going to make. So all it takes is for Donald Trump to just say, immigrants are making your life miserable. And it's like, I'm going to vote for the immigrants to get ruined, lives to get ruined. And then all of a sudden you realize, how come I'm not being helped? Because I said I was going to only hurt the immigrants. I didn't say anything about helping you. He did say he was going to help us. Why is bubblegum $25? But that's what I'm saying though, is that like we live in a world and we live in a country right now where these things are like on the ballot right now. But I realize but at the very core of who they are, I'm convinced that most Trump supporters and most right wingers and most Republicans and most of these people, they're just people who are genuinely scared because they're basically been fed this fear mongering BS for so long that that's all that they have to live. That's all they have to like believe and live by. They don't care. Like they also feel like their freedom is being taken away because America is a country of white supremacy, and they're like, guys, they're threatening white supremacy. That means that they're threatening you. And actually, you remember, white supremacy means white people, so you gotta go ahead and make sure that you protect the white supremacy. And they're like, heck yeah. And they're like, heck yeah, I'm gonna protect myself. And it's like, dude, you don't have to do this. Nothing is going to happen to you if something happens. Nothing is going to happen to you if something good happens to somebody else. You don't understand. What happens is that I need things to go right for me and me only. But it will. But it also wants to. But things will also go right for everybody else. Yeah, I can't have that. Like that's the reason why I dislike these people. But I don't hate them. I don't want anything to. I don't want them to be harmed. I just wish that they just didn't have any power anymore, or I kind of wish that they would just sort of be more insular with their culture. You know, instead of trying to turn the entire country into an episode of Squidbillies, part of me just kind of wishes that they would just kind of just sort of go within each other, just create their own community and just get within themselves, and then just sort of deal with each other instead of trying to deal with everybody else. And if there's one thing I learned is that these people do not want to do that. They want to interact and be in everybody's face. They want everybody to like them for their worst qualities. And the problem is that like they don't even want nobody to know what their worst qualities are. And that's another thing that just sort of stresses me out. Like, imagine wanting people to accept you for your most horrible behavior, for some of the worst things that you've ever done. These people want to be liked for being terrible. And then when people tell them, hey, you're being terrible, this thing that you're doing, we don't want to like you for it. They're like, oh, you don't want to like me for being me? This is who I am. And I'm like, well, if you're going to be that way, you got to go. Why should I go? Like, bro, why are y'all... Like, my whole thing is that, like, you know, if you're going... Like, my whole thing is, if you're a racist, just say that you're racist. If you're a bigot, just say you're a bigot. If you're terrible, just say you're terrible. It's 2024, man. Stop trying to hide who you are. If you want people to accept you for your worst, then you need to accept your worst first. Accept the fact that you're a terrible person. I'm not even doing anything. I'm not racist or a bigot. Okay, then what are your thoughts about people of color? I don't need to tell you that. Then go away. If you don't want, like, if you can't accept your worst traits, if you can't accept your most terrible behavior, then why should anybody else? Either change who you are or leave people alone. It's just that simple. And also another thing too is that, like, you know, like this whole embracing evil thing, we have to stop doing this. We've embraced evil for more than like a century, okay, and things have not turned right since. Maybe instead of being bullies and being obnoxious and being hateful and being bigoted and being sociopathic and thinking that everything bad has to happen to people that you don't like, then instead of doing all that, maybe just approach things from a different way. Maybe think about how to fix problems instead of just hurting people you don't like. Because I hate white supremacists to the day that I hate white supremacists from now until forever. But if there was somebody who was specifically running for president who just said, vote for me and I'm going to do everything that I can to hurt white supremacists, I would not vote for that guy. You know why? Because that guy is not talking about how he's going to help me. He's not talking about what he's going to do for me. If his only thing is, I'm going to mess with the white supremacists and I'm going to beat the crap out of white supremacists, then basically he could just say, oh, anybody's a white supremacist. He's just going to make life miserable for everybody. Like, bro, what you going to do for... Like, I like that part, but also, can you do something else? Like, I don't know, maybe make food cheaper? Can you make wages higher? Can you regulate corporations so they stop spiking prices up? I mean, can you make it easier for people to move up the social ladder so we can all so our social activism can mean something because we have more access to better funding? Oh, you just want to attack white supremacists? I can't support that. You know? You can't just be a catchphrase president, bro. You got to be more complicated than that. You know what I'm saying? You got to think deeper because everything is that deep. That's the world that we live in. You know what I'm saying? The problem with people liking villains nowadays is that they don't care about the complicated parts. They just see a physically attractive being who frowns a lot or who talks like this. Every so often, I want to make life miserable for other people because I am a bad guy. And people just, oh, God, he's so dreamy. I remember a time when dudes actually used to get really angry because women will like choose the the bad guy, and they'll always say, "Why should you want to go for a bad guy and not a nice guy like me?" And now you find out that even dudes like bad guys. It just had to be fictional. Like, dog, you're the girl now. No, I'm not. Calm down, bro. Calm down. Calm down. But that's what I'm saying though, is that like, if we, it's like, embracing evil is just not doing anything. Embracing evil is not fixing problems. It's not making people appear more scholastic. It's not doing anything of good. So maybe let's stop embracing evil. Maybe let's stop embracing cruelty. Maybe let's stop making life miserable for people we don't like and actually start helping out people we do like or something. These villain arcs, man. People be like, "I'm going into my villain arc. I'm about to be mean to everybody." Like, yeah. More of the same. Wonderful. I would clap, but it's like you're literally you haven't like going into your villain arc. You mean you haven't been on your villain arc? Oh man, I should have made that a short. I probably still can down the line. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. People be like, "I'm going to be evil." You mean more evil? Because you're already pretty evil. Like, maybe be nicer, be kinder, show some respect to people, or just leave people alone if you don't like them. Like I said, I don't like white supremacists, but you're not gonna see me on any white supremacist video on here and be in the comment section like, "Actually, you suck because your video is terrible and I don't like you." I ain't got time to be focusing on these people like that. But you know what's even weirder? They got time to focus on me like that. Guys, just know if I don't make it towards the end of the year, a white supremacist got angry at me online and decided to me. Okay, just. But let's hope that never happens. But if it does happen, just know I called it first. In the meantime, though, being a villain sucks. Being evil sucks. Cruelty sucks. Being mean sucks. So let's be kind. Let's be loving. Let's be respectful. Let's be honorable. Let's treat each other like people instead of trying to find good reasons to do bad things. If we can find good reasons to do bad things, we can find even better reasons to do good things. You know what I'm saying? Imagine being so smart that you have to find good reasons to be evil, but you can't find good reasons to be good. Then at that point, you're not smart. You're just overcomplicating things in hopes to just satisfy some stupid urge to hurt people that you have. Can we grow some food, please? Can we grow some food? Can we make a 15-minute city? Can we do something for the sake of just helping people instead of just harming each other because it's funny? I'm ranting. But I did say I was going to make a follow-up. All right, y'all. Love, peace, happiness. Being mean is mainstream. Be kind all the time. Being kind is punk rock, so be punk rock. All right, y'all. Let's go.